Okay, so what you're going to need for this project is your scissors, a tapestry needle, 2 stitch markers, and we're going to pull out the big guns. This is a size L, also known as an 8.0 millimeter. And for the yarn today, I'm going to be using this Bernat Maker Home Deck. Apparently got it at the thrift store somewhere along the way. And this color is Nautical Varg. You can even use this Bernat blanket. It's a little bit thicker. You can still do it because you can adjust the size as you want. So how we're going to start this, my monitor's playing games with me. It's like got this lag. How we're going to start this is with a slip knot. And we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to count back 4 chains. So this first one that's attached to our loop, that counts as 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so in this 4th chain, we're going to do a double crochet. And a real recap of that is we're going to yarn over. We're going to go into our stitch. We're going to grab our yarn and pull it up. We'll have our 3 loops. We're going to yarn over. We're going to go through 2 loops. And then we're going to yarn over. And we're going to go through the last 2. That's our 1 double crochet. This is counting as a double crochet, but for this pattern, we're calling it the chain loop. And it'll make sense here in a little bit. Now we have these 2 chains left. We're going to do 1 double crochet in each of those. So again, we're going to yarn over, go in that top loop, grab your yarn and pull it up with our 3 loops. We're going to yarn over, go through 2. We're going to yarn over and go through the last 2. Let's do 1 more here. Go in there and pull it up. Yarn over, 1, 2. Yarn over, 1, 2. And that's what it looks like so far. We've got 3 double crochets in a row, 1, 2, 3, and our chain loop. So that's our first little block. Now we're going to turn and we're going to chain up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to count down to your 4th chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to do 1 double crochet into that 4th chain from the hook. So again, we've got our chain loop and we've got 1 double crochet. And now we've got these 2 chains left, and we're going to do it again, 1 double crochet in each. Pull that up, you got your 3 loops. There's 1, yarn over, and then there's 2. Let's go to our next chain loop, yarn over, go in there and pull it up. We're going to yarn over, that's 1. We're going to yarn over, and that's 2. So here we go. This is what it's looking like. So we're going to look at these 3 double crochets and we're going to feel for that chain loop. This whole pattern is going to be worked in these chain loops. And all we're going to do is we're going to reach straight over, go into that chain loop, and you're going to grab your yarn and you're going to slip stitch. So you're going to be pulling it through, and then you're going to immediately go through there. And now you've joined the two squares together, and it looks weird right now. Okay, now we're still on our second row, so let's make another block. We slip stitched into that chain loop. Now let's chain 3. There's 1, 2, 3. There's our chain loop, and in this chain loop we're going to put 3 double crochets. So yarn over, go in your chain loop, pull up, get your 3 loops, yarn over, that's 1, yarn over, that's 2. All right, let's put 2 more double crochets in here. If you need to, you just slide it over, yarn over into your chain loop with your 3 loops. We're going to yarn over and go through 2. So that's 1 time. I'm going to yarn over, pull through those 2 chains. That's 2. Let's do another double crochet in there. Yarn over 2, yarn over 2. That's what it looks like. Okay, now we're still increasing. Right now we're building the size of it. So I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to hold that last stitch. Now let's chain up 6, but I'm going to show you a little trick. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. Put your finger on that 3rd chain. Now 4, 5, 6. I already got my finger on that 4th chain, so now I'm going to yarn over and put a double crochet in there. It just eliminates all that counting now. Double crochet into that 4th chain, and then we've got those 2 stitches left. And we're going to put a double crochet in the top loop of each of those. So yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Let's do another one in that last chain. Okay, and this is what we're looking like. So this is what we always need to be paying attention to, is to make sure that these loops are facing up versus like that. So I'll be reminding you. And so this is what it looks like right now. And now it's going to start looking familiar now. So we're going to find that chain loop, and we're going to slip stitch into that chain loop. And let's start our block. It's always starts with a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then in our chain loop, we're going to put 3 double crochets. Here's 1. And if you need to, I find sometimes if I just fold that down, it's not like flipping flopping in my way. There's 2. And then there's 3. And we just made our second block. Now let's connect this block to this. Let's find that chain loop. And I'm going to go into that chain loop with a slip stitch. So I'm going to grab my yarn, I'm going to pull it through, and then I'm going to pull it through. And now let's create our 3rd block with a chain 3 and put 3 double crochets in there. 1, 2, 3. And that's where we're at. I like to, and there's other videos on the corner to corner. I like to turn it, and this is why. When I turn it and I start my chains, those chains are facing me. Okay. A lot of times I've seen them where they'll start their chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and they're facing them, but when you turn them, the chains are all, they look weird. I mean, it's totally doable, of course, but I'm trying to make it a little bit easier to see. So I like to turn it first, even though it makes it crooked, and then grab that bottom stitch, and then 1, 2, 3, hold, 4, 5, 6. You know, that way they're facing me. All right, so again, double crochet into that 4th chain, and then we have those 2 chains left, and we're going to put 1 double crochet in there. And then 1 more double crochet. It's with a block, and it's going to be a repeat of this. Find that chain loop, because we've turned it, our things are already pointing up. So let's find that chain loop and slip stitch in there, and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 double crochets in that chain loop. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to find my next chain loop and slip stitch into there. The slip stitch is very important because it anchors down the block and gives it that definition. So it's important to do that. There's 1, 2, 3, our chain loop, creating our chain loop, and then our 3 double crochets in there. Again, I'm going to fold that last one down so that I can just do my double crochets without catching. Okay, and now we're in our last chain loop. Slip stitch into there and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And so this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to start it with a chain 6. Oh, you can see me. We're going to start with a chain 6 on each side. And that's how we're going to grow it to be as wide as we want. And then I will meet you back in just a little bit and show you how we're going to start decreasing. So once you get to your inner row, you're going to flip it. Make sure your little heart things are on top until we get to the height we want and the width we want. And I'll meet you right back. I'm just popping back on here. This is also a little extra bit for you to help keep you on track. So here's our first block. Then we added a block, so we have 2 blocks. The next one will be 3 blocks. The next one will be 4 blocks. And then I just finished my 5th, or I'm about to finish my 5th block. So each row, if you need to, you can count to make sure that you're adding 1 block. So I know at this next row I'm going to have 6, and then it's just going to grow. And then I will still meet you back here when I have mine as big as I need. And now, since I'm going to not grow it taller or wider, I'm going to start decreasing on both sides. And this is how we're going to do it. This is where our stitch markers are going to come into play. So we've got those 3 double crochets. We're going to slip stitch across and get into this loop. And I'm just going to skip this first one because I don't want to do a chain 1 and go back in it. I'm just going to go into that second one, into that third one, and then slip stitch into my chain loop. Now I'm going to go ahead in this first one, just for this first one, I'm going to just mark it so I can, just as a reminder that I'm starting. This wall was going this way, it's now going to stop, and it's now going to start going this way. Slip stitched into that chain loop, and we're going to make our blocks now. Chain 3, and then we'll just continue to make our blocks, and then when we get over here I'll meet you back and I'll show you how we're going to continue on. Okay, here we are. Go in there, and we're still going to make that last block. Now we're just going to turn. This is where we would have normally chained 6, and then we're going to slip stitch back across those 3 double crochets we just made, but I'm only going through 2 of them. You know, just want to get in that chain space. Chain 1 to hold that. And then I'm going to put this in that double crochet space. And then we carry on with our blocks. Chain 3, 3 double crochets. This part of the pattern is what, you know, it's just not doing that chain 6. You take away the chain 6 and just do your block in that last chain space, and then turn and slip stitch back across the 3 double crochets you just made, and that's what's going to bring it back. That's what's going to close it up. So go ahead and make your blocks all the way around. I'll show you one more time how to do your decrease bit and get this project done. Okay, so I'm coming up on my last, or making my last block, and yes, you will have 2 blocks left. So let's finish this. Okay, and that's what it looks like. Looks very confusing. But what we're going to do is, in this chain loop, we're going to slip stitch like we're going to make a block. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn. And what that's doing, that's the corner. And now this is going to start building up. So it's the very beginning of it. It does kind of start lining out, but right now it looks like you should keep on going, but you don't. We put that marker in that last double crochet to remind us that this is a corner. And now we're going to start moving up. I guess I should do it this way. Now we're going to start moving up. So now what we're going to do with the stitch marker is take it out, and in that last chain we just slip stitched into there. Just put that stitch marker there. That's our reminder. That's the end of the wall. There's no more. We're not building out on that. And now slip stitch in there. I did a chain 1, and now I've turned. Since I've turned, now I'm going to start working my way back, decreasing, and this is the repeat for every row from now on. Is we're going to slip stitch into those 3 double crochets, building that wall. And now I'm going to chain 3, since I'm in that loop, and then start making my blocks, and then do blocks as normal all the way across. And again, I will meet you back down there to help you turn around right. Coming to the end of this row, got that stitch marker down there. That's my corner. I guess I forgot to move it up, didn't I? So we're going to slip stitch, chain 3, do my block real quick. Three. All right, there's the corner. There's that last chain loop, and we are going to slip stitch into there and chain 1. And now I can move that stitch marker into that chain space. Okay, now turn our work, and again slip stitch across these 3 double crochets and into this chain space, and then start building our blocks. And again, I'll meet you when we get closer down here. All right, I just did my last block. I saw my stitch marker, so it made me look up the line, and now I'm going to slip stitch into that chain space and chain 1, and I'm going to move my stitch marker up. So let's take a step back here for a second so we can see what's really going on here. So I put in those stitch markers here on the side. Stepping back for a minute, I can see now. There's the bottom, there's the side, there's the other side started, and the other side started. So now this is just going to close in. Each time it's just going to get smaller and smaller. So let's go ahead and flip it. It just looks so weird, like I'm supposed to be down here. That's what's so confusing. Again, decreasing over, slip stitch across, and start making our blocks. Okay, keep an eye on your stitch marker down here. That's going to tell you that once you get to this edge here, we're just going to slip stitch, chain 1, and turn. Okay, so I'm going to do it with you one more time, and then I will let you finish up, and then I'll meet you back here in a little bit. Let's do this last line together, and I'll meet you when we get closer down here. And another reason I know I'm at the edge is because there is a chain loop. These are the double crochets we slip stitched over, so I know I've just got to find this chain loop. And I'm going to slip stitch into there. I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to move my stitch marker up. Quick recap so you guys can carry on. We're going to slip stitch these first 3 double crochets and slip stitch into that chain space. Cruise on down the line. Keep an eye for your stitch marker. When you have a few blocks up, just take a second and step back. That way you know you get to this last one, it'll be a slip stitch, chain 1, turn, slip stitch, blocks, and then it's gonna go by fast. So I'm gonna leave you here, and I'll show you what we're gonna do after that. All right, I'm back. It's the next day, and this is where I am, closing up my top corner here. So it's looking good. So let's get this back over here, and let's get this finished up. All right, when I get to the top, get a couple more rows down, I will check back with you. Okay, at the top here, I think I just have one more. Chain 1. Okay, so we slip stitched in there, and now we're going to chain 1. And what we're going to do is in these chain loops here, I'm going to put 2 single crochets, and in the 3 double crochets I'm going to put 1 single crochet in the top of those. Now on the double crochet we slip stitched across to always get into those loops, so when you look at it there's a braid in the back and then there's a braid in the front. I am just going to pick up, first let's do our 2 single crochets. I'm just going to pick, and it doesn't matter which 2 loops you pull up. So I'm just going to go and pick up the slip stitch and do 1 single crochet in those. I'm back in that chain loop. I'm going to skip this space. I'm going to go straight into this chain loop, and then that's what I'm going to repeat. I'm going to do two single crochets in there, and then in the 3 double crochets do 1 single crochet in the top of those. And if you want to go in the back ones, that's fine too. I'm just going to go ahead and pick up the front, and then I will meet you when we get to the corner here. Crochets, and now I'm going to add a 3rd. I'm going to put 3 single crochets in there to get me around the corner. Okay, and then we're going to repeat that. I'm going to go straight into these 3 double crochets. I'm going to pick up whatever I can at the top, and then in my chain loop I'm going to put 2 single crochets, 3 single crochets, find that next loop, 2 single crochets, and then when we get to the corner we'll put 3 single crochets to get us around the corner. All right, guys, carry on, and I will meet you when we get this trim done. Okay, I still have a bunch left, so I'm going to go ahead and go around one more time, and what I'm doing is I'm going to do a single crochet with a chain 1. You don't have to do that. I'm just letting you know what I'm doing, so when you see it you'll know that mine looks different. And so when I get done with this, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1. I'll really meet you when I come back. All right, made it back around. All right, I'm going to finish up this last bit. Get myself around. Now I'm just going to slip stitch over here. I'm going to go ahead and do a chain 2 just because this is weird material, and I'm going to leave a good like almost foot. Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted to use it up. Okay, all right, so I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to sew this in real quick, and then I will close off this video. So because this is like weird material, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to poke through. You can do this with yarn too. Poke through one of those strands. I'm just going to go back. See if I can poke through another one. And let's go one more time. You can't really even see it, so I'll just fold it in half. Well, all right, everybody. I hope yours turned out really well. I will just catch you into the next video. You guys take care out there. Bye-bye.